Lush dresses, bright jewelry, and a thick layer of whitewash on her face. It seemed as if the Queen of England had discovered a recipe for longevity. To many, she remained forever young. However, behind the doors of her apartments, the Queen stripped off all her masks. She was becoming herself. The life of Elizabeth I was not easy. As a young child, she was like a dressed-up doll, receiving foreign ambassadors next to her father. And then came the disgrace of her mother, Anne Boleyn. Following this, Elizabeth was stripped of her title of princess and severely restricted in her income. Her nanny asked Henry VIII for some money to buy new clothes for the little mistress. Under Mary Tudor, Elizabeth tried to be quiet and submissive. Mary could have suspected her sister of betrayal at any moment. From November 1558, the moment of accession of the red-haired beast, much in England changed. The people were happy, vigorous, cheerful, and attractive. Elizabeth I did not seem as cruel as Mary Tudor. People wondered if they were going to be ruled by a woman again. Elizabeth was puzzled. She wondered whether she should really get married. She couldn't decide how to behave with her subjects, such as being close to the people or becoming an inaccessible queen. Apparently, Elizabeth chose the second option. Elizabeth often complained about being born a woman. In the Middle Ages, being a woman was hard, and especially occupying the throne, even though the Salic law was not in force in England. From time to time, Elizabeth referred to herself as prince or monarch in the male persona, much like Queen Hatshepsut of Egypt. It was then that rumors began to circulate that Elizabeth was actually a man. On top of this, supposedly supporting arguments were invented. For example, Elizabeth did not want to marry, wore a wig, had a male figure, and forbade herself to be examined after death. I think these were really just evil tongues. People at all times needed mystery, mysticism, mystery. Moreover, Elizabeth skillfully used her feminine charm. Unlike her naive sister, Elizabeth knew exactly what men wanted from her. Instead of loose dresses, she wore tight outfits, emphasizing all the advantages of the figure, and in addition to the usual diplomatic conversation, did not forget about flirting. But the Queen was not always young and charming. She grew old, just as we all do, just like any normal person. Elizabeth bitterly realized that in her 60s is no longer the main beautiful lady of the court. She was replaced by noisy young maids of honor, whose society Elizabeth I avoided. The Queen had several trusted court ladies around her age. However, they tended to leave the Queen forever for reasons beyond their control. They died of old age. But Elizabeth tried to keep up with the young ladies. She painstakingly whitewashed her face to hide her long-standing smallpox sores, wore lavish toilettes, and glittered with jewelry. The Queen's maids of honor were required to wear something inconspicuous of clothing, of more muted colors. Only Mary Howard, her maid of honor, often crossed the Queen. For example, once Mary appeared at court in a luxurious velvet dress, dotted with pearls and gold threads. Through the dense layer of plaster it was not visible, as Elizabeth's face was drenched in paint. The obnoxious maid of honor's dress was ordered stolen. Elizabeth tried it on. She asked her court ladies on whom the dress fit better. On her or on this Howard? I note that the Queen was tall, and her maid of honor's dress was a bit short, up to her ankles. Disappointed by what she saw, Elizabeth ordered the outfit to be burned. Elizabeth I often played the role of a young woman. When her young favorite, the Earl of Essex, burst into the Queen's private apartments, he did not expect to see a woman of very advanced age, with a little fluff on her head, sores on her face, wrinkles, and a slightly curved spine without a tight corset. The Earl of Essex acted rashly. After what he saw, he mocked the Queen in front of the courtiers, calling her a crooked old woman. Elizabeth was offended. The Queen was hurt even more by the Earl of Essex's failure in the military campaign. Elizabeth forbade the former favorite to appear at court and refused to renew the rebate on the tax on sweet wines. Essex became angry. His pleas for forgiveness turned to fierce resentment. Conspirators against Elizabeth's royal authority began to gather in the Earl's house. In 1601, Essex was charged with treason against the crown and executed in the Tower.